Welcome to the Lady Nighthawk Show, where we talk about interesting topics. We have interesting guests, and here's my good buddy here with us tonight that's been away, and he has a suntan because he never takes vacations. Okay, but Attorney Bell, introduce yourself and tell them how they can get in contact with you.
Good evening.
And about the 24-hour service.
Good evening. My name is Donald Bell. I'm an attorney here in Maryland, right here in Prince George's County, where I love and I enjoy serving the public and my people here in Prince George's County and the surrounding counties. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am an attorney here in Prince George's County, and if you call my office, I have 24-hour call service. So even if you call right now, I think it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening right now. So even if you call right now, we have phone service, call service, and they will get your information, a live call service, not a voicemail. Mm-hmm. So that's a service that we provide to our clients, and we try to respond to them expeditiously as possible. Mm-hmm.
And so I have no stock in your business. It's just that you are part of our consortium that we deal with different people, for veterans as well as everyday ordinary people. With the weather being like it is and all these hurricanes and vacation time, so everybody can't come every time. So. But we still try to keep them informed as much as we can. We had Dave that hadn't been on here for a minute, and he was on here last week with
I bet that was an interesting show.
Oh, very interesting.
And the good Reverend.
And the good right Reverend Ross, was on here, Levine. I'm sorry, I always want to call him Levine. That's somebody who's on television. But Levin.
Adam Levine or something.
That must be who it is, But this is
and
Ross
I think his
Levin.
first name is Adam too.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Adam Ross Levin.
And I forgot to tell happy birthday on the air last week. So please tell him to watch this week. Happy birthday to you. I sent him a birthday card.
To him, his brother, and his sister. He's a triplet.
Yeah, a triplet. Okay. But I don't know them.
Yeah.
So I want to tell all three of y'all happy birthday, because I did not tell him happy birthday on the air. So tell him. And when I got home, I said, we didn't say happy birthday to him. So both of us can tell him happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, Ross. And we saw. Well, I was waiting for Donald to come back. I use it on you, so that we can tell you happy birthday again. I ain't going to hell on that loud, okay? But excuse me. So I'm sorry, but happy birthday to you, and happy anniversary to you. For your job, for your business.
Yep, in June, 20 years as an attorney here in Maryland. So I got licensed in June of 2004, June 15th, as a matter of fact, 2004. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 5 days after my birthday.
Yep. So I've been here in Prince George's County that whole time, working for the people in Prince George's and Charles and Howard and Anne Arundel and Montgomery County. Yeah. So I'm right here, and God willing, Lord willing, I ain't going nowhere. So.
Well, no, neither one of us.
Yes.
God willing. So I'm just so glad to have you, have you here. The last time we had, I'll just save that for the church, but we had a good show the last time that you were here, and I'll say that for the next show. But anyway, you were getting ready to tell me something before the cameras came on. We were talking about.
Well, we were just talking about people and how your information isn't safe. We feel like your information isn't safe, and we had talked about how it's imperative. It's very important that people check their bank accounts, check their credit reports on a regular basis to ensure that the information on there is accurate. We had talked about that, there are 3 credit reporting agencies out there, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and you are entitled to 1 free credit report every year from one of those, from those agencies.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So can I get 1 free credit report from Experian this month? And then next month I go to
Equifax.
And get that free?
Yes.
Because they're not connected.
They're not connected.
So I could get one month, get one the next month, or one the next 2 months.
Yes.
And then one from the third one. And then
Yes.
you gave us another agency that I had never heard of too.
Well, you can go to annualcreditreports.com and you can, but that's something that you have to do online.
Okay.
And you can order your credit reports online and you can get a free copy online.
Okay.
Now, if you've already gotten a free copy, then you, from like one of the 3 agencies,
You're not going to get another
you're not going to get another one. But, it's a convenient way for people who are online. You can go to annualcreditreports.com and you can order all 3 at the same time. But you can also go to the websites for each one of those individual ones. And if you don't trust doing things online, you can also, there's an address where you can, and a form that you can fill out, and an address, or you can mail it in, and they will mail you a copy of your credit report as well.
Yeah, I get everything by mail. I don't use online. Really, I don't, especially when it's dealing with my personal business.
But it's just convenient because you get it almost instantaneously.
I'm not telling anybody not to use online. Okay, you do what you feel safe
makes you feel
with,
comfortable.
Okay, but you can still ask like your utilities and your Medicare and different places, and even some of the other businesses you deal with, that they try to push people to the internet. But it's crazy to me because there's so many hacks that are going on that it's safer with the mail system to me. Okay,
well,
as long as you don't throw your mail out in the trash.
Sometimes the mail is. Sometimes it comes and sometimes it don't.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. That Ross told us last week that there's a place that at the post office, there's an address or phone number you can call and ask them to notify you of the mail that's supposed to come for the day. Okay. Okay. So then that way that if you don't know, if the mail does not come that day, then you can let them know the next day. Okay. He gave me. When you talk about something else, I'm gonna look it up because he sent it to me. Okay. But he says that you can call your local post office and ask them, would they, how do I get notification of the mail that's supposed to be delivered at my house? Okay. And I think that's a good service to have. Okay. Because like this is voting season, and every day if it's not just something from one of the people that are running for election to come in the mail, then I think it's something wrong, okay? Because I get mail every day. Yes. So when I didn't get mail for a few days last week, I called the post office. The post office still has you can call the post office if you're not getting your mail from any of those southern states and it moved up the coast with Debbie. Debbie really affected a lot of places. So you can, if you get mail and you haven't gotten it, call that vendor and ask them, did they send you any mail out? Okay, and then I would call the post office and sign up for that free service that Ross was telling us about, Reverend Ross was telling us about last week, because we have porch pirates, so we know that people go through your mail and your trash. Okay, so you got to be diligent about what you do to keep yourself safe with that as well. Okay, because they have them in D.C., they have them in PG County as well. I'm quite sure they have them all across the United States, and they call them porch pirates. They wait for a package to come, or they look through your mail to see if you got any credit card applications that are sitting in there or whatever. So it's good. I didn't know that because I had just gone into the post office because it was some mail that I was looking for almost 3 weeks. Well, the recording tells you that the mail was affected by Debbie. And some of the tornadoes and stuff that after effects that they were having, and where my mail was coming from was one of those states, and it was from the southeastern side of the border all the way up, and then they changed it and they did not include Maryland, but they included D.C. and up to I think it was New York, but I still haven't got that mail and from where it came from, and I kind of fought that company, but anyway. Yeah. But I still haven't gotten it. I checked today in the mail, it still hadn't come. That's been almost 3 weeks, but I know where it came from. And it just paralyzed the country for, you not to get mail. So I would recommend everybody to check with that service that Reverend Ross told us about last week. And ask them just to send you a notification about your mail. You don't have to go online, you can call them. You can go in the post office and, fill it out. I did go inside the post office, you know me. if I see something that tell me on the news, I call and check on it. If it's something that got something personal, you know, I'm gonna go into the establishment.
Okay.
You know, yeah, you know, I did that with that bank with the scammer thing. I went inside the bank, okay, just to check it out. But in the bank, not the bank, but the post office, the guy did look for it, right? And he said because there wasn't a tracking number on it, then it was no way they could track it.
No way they could tell.
So, but he did look,
yeah.
you know, and he said just call him back and ask him. Then ask him why they didn't track that. That doesn't make sense. You know, for them to send out a piece of mail like that and they not have a tracking number. You didn't have to sign for it, but at least they could track and see where it was. And that was on the day when the hurricane hit. It seemed like any mail that went out or did not go out that day, they should have a record of it. You know, they said they sent it out, okay? So mail is not perfect. I agree with you on that. But I do tell everybody that so I can see. I'm a person that has to read, okay, and see it for myself. I don't want to go online and give anybody, which I thought, like I was telling you earlier, I was safe by not going online doing stuff. Now, one time I used to teach IT. Okay. And so I know that there were those hackers out there. In fact, one of our classes that we had a professor that was in Iran at the time, and he would teach us every Thursday, right? Through phone service. And that's before they became real popular. And anyway, he was instructing our class one night, and he said, I'm gonna have to get off the phone with y'all because the sirens are going off. So that means that we got people that are getting ready to, you know, do us some harm. So I have to get offline, you know.
Oh, wow.
And I
so maybe some bombs or something like that were coming through. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you know, we were talking about people hacking and stuff then. You know, just didn't know it was going to be where we are today. Okay.
Well, information is power.
Yeah.
Information is worth a lot of money. So that's the reason why, you know, hackers and the people that they sell and the companies and individuals they sell stuff to put so much time, money, and effort into getting that information. Because if you can get somebody's name, if you know somebody's name, and then you can get their social security number, then you get their date of birth, then you go online to their social media, and you know how many, you know, when their birthday is or where they live and things of that nature. So when a credit report is done, there are like 6 or 7 like identifiable things about you. That's how the credit reporting company knows who you are. So these hackers, they're getting this information from like different sources.
And
so
Google, when you send people happy birthday, you know, I got the birthday right there. I pull your name up, I got the birthday. Because everybody's wishing you happy birthday on whatever the birthday is.
On Facebook or Instagram or things of that nature. And your page is public.
Yes.
You know, so all of this information is just out there. So you know that so people have hackers have like software that just sort of puts all this stuff together, and they can create an alternate identity for you almost. And then you know, like in certain parts of the country, like let's say if you're here in Maryland, and then you know a hacker gets your stuff out in Seattle or Portland or something like that, then they go and they get a phone account, and then they open up like a utility account, and then you know they get like one more account, then they can go get an ID.
And the thing
they can say, hey, I don't have my ID. So now they got an ID for you, right? And now they can go out and they can do bigger stuff. Maybe they can, you know, maybe they'll build up the credit a little bit, and they'll go out and buy a car, buy a house.
And a house.
So that's how, you know, how you know, sophisticated these people are. So that's why you have to be vigilant.
Yes.
And checking your stuff. And when you see something that you don't recognize, or you don't know about, you know, then you have to be able to go through like that dispute process with the credit reporting agencies. And then, you know, you gotta
or your bank.
Or your bank. Yeah.
So one thing is that I think that the worst thing that it could have ever done, it doesn't make sense to me, but that's just my opinion, not opinion of the station, it's my opinion. when they allow people to start to renew their driver's license online, and you use a picture, somebody sent.
Oh, I think it's the best thing ever.
Because you never get old. Because they're gonna use the first picture that you use. So if you took a picture.
Well, you know, with Maryland, you had to, you know, Maryland, like I had to get my ID renewed last year because they have the Maryland Real ID now, and they actually required you to go in.
Well, I'm glad they did.
To the DMV.
I'm glad they did.
I had this picture from back when I was like 34, 35. It wasn't no gray hair in it, you know, and I look good in that picture.
I know you
so
do.
every time I renew my license over the last couple of years,
online.
I use that picture and they send it out to me. This time they had to take the picture with all the gray hair, because I just had to get it renewed this year.
I'm glad
with
they
the Maryland
did.
Real ID. So I hated going to the DMV and standing in line to do that.
Well, I don't know which one you're going to go. One I go to that used to be bad is pretty good is Largo out there. That one's pretty. I mean, if you make an appointment. Or
I made an appointment and still had to stand.
Oh, you did?
It was still like an hour and a half.
Oh, and then it depends on whether or not what kind of business that you're doing there. Because some of them, they have these kiosks that you can go to now, so you don't even have to wait.
I think I had to go to the one in Glen Burnie.
Yeah, that's the main. That's the big house.
Yeah, and I just sat there. I was just like this right here. I was just like, oh my.
Well, too bad they didn't take your laptop. You could have done something. But you know what? With the laptop, that's another thing.
Well, I don't. You know, here's the thing about the work that I do.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I don't do that on like open Wi-Fi.
Nope, can't.
So it's difficult for me to do that type of stuff.
I don't either,
on a public Wi-Fi. So.
I don't either. Okay,
yeah,
I don't.
Because I deal with I got all people's personal identifiable information. So we only generally do that work at the office.
Yep.
Or my staff does work from home 2 days a week, but we have a secure network.
Yep.
And you know, but we have a very strict rule that you're not allowed
to work outside the office.
Work outside your house.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
So you can use your private network at home to access our network at the office, or you got to be in the office. So you can't go to the park. You know, you can't go to Starbucks. You can't do it anywhere. You can't work anywhere else.
So if you're working from home, you really are working from home.
You got to work from home.
Well, like. One day I was riding it because I was using GPS for Google, and now I'm kind of getting a little leery of that. Okay.
Well, Google's tracking you.
Well, nobody tracking me, but as soon as you hit
Google tracks you when you use.
Oh yeah. But the thing is that they got a new place that I said I'm gonna start using. They advertise on television where they don't track you. I forgot what it's called.
It's still tracking you.
Oh, okay. But anyway, what got me worried was that as soon as I would hit one of these shopping centers, it would automatically pop up saying that you can just access.
Those companies pay a lot of money for that
so
information,
you can use that
for that data.
Yeah, you know, do you think that I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi, use a public Wi-Fi? I'm in a hotel right now because they fixing my house. Yeah. Right? I won't even use theirs. When I saw that they said it was a public Wi-Fi, I won't use it, okay? Now, what they did do was block it so I couldn't use my, I have, you know, where I could use my phone. Yeah. The hotspot. Your hotspot. Right? It wasn't at my hotspot.
So you can't use your hotspot at the hotel?
No, because, well, the hotspot people, I'm going to give them credit. They went through a lot of verifications to see who I was, okay, which I appreciate. Some of that stuff you don't remember because I done had this hotspot since I was on radio, okay, and doing TV.
Because generally, like when I travel, I generally use my hotspot. So I'll take my cell phone and I'll turn on my hotspot, and then that's how I may do some work or something like that.
Right. Well,
instead of a private. A public or a private Wi-Fi.
Since I've been off radio, I haven't had to use it, maybe once or twice. Yeah. But, so when I was trying to use it the other day, I guess that law, they were really trying to verify me. Yeah. And if you don't write everything down, that's why I write everything down somewhere. Yeah. So that the questions that they ask you when the time you got
you forgot it, huh?
If you don't forget it, forget it. Because I went through and they would ask me, and I ain't mad at them, okay? Because they were trying to make sure that it was
they're trying to protect you.
Yeah, I'm not mad at them. Yeah. So I just said, okay, well, I won't be able to do it because I thought I was going to be able to do my homework while I was there, right? Yeah. So I could hurry up and get this PhD done. I mean, I had all the time in the world. I could have been doing everything I needed to do, right? But I said, nope, I'm not going on public access, and I can't use my hotspot unless I go into Apple, right, and ask them to help me get back online, you know, because I'm paying for it every month.
Yeah, you should.
I'll do that because I could knock out a whole lot of stuff. I mean, the time I've been sitting around waiting, you know, not being at the house. But no, I'm not an advocate. I know that you can go to Wegmans and you can use, you know, their service, but it's a public access as well. Yeah.
So you don't know who's looking at your data and what's on your phone.
That's right.
And whatnot. So
that's right. Yeah. So even these coffee houses that you go to, you know, that offer you Wi-Fi, we just tell you just to be careful. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to get a hotspot for your internet provider, okay? So that you know that you're on a secure website when you go places like that, and then you just use your hotspot as your Wi-Fi, your own personal Wi-Fi, and you can do your work in any of those places. But I do not recommend you go on public access because that's where the hackers get the information. As soon as you hit certain, you know, shopping centers, they pop up and say, you know, letting you know you can use their Wi-Fi.
That's the reason why Google is so popular. That's the reason why Google makes so much money, because you're using Google for free, but nothing's free.
Right.
So Google's gathering information everywhere you go. You know, everything that you do, everything you look at online, Google's creating a profile. So
I tell you that.
So when you when you go to McDonald's, Google knows how many times you've gone to McDonald's. You follow me?
Because you're in their list. Because they
know your location.
Yeah, and then your list. But I don't mean I have to go to McDonald's that's in my location, okay? Because they got 3 different ones within. But
I'm just saying they know which one you're going to and whatnot.
Because once I put it in there one time, they're gonna tell me. Then when they tell you that you got 15 in your area, they're gonna say, well, which one you want to select.
But if you're doing like research, like on a medical issue or something like that, Google's saving that information and they're selling that information to some company. And then all of a sudden you start getting
phone
ads.
calls.
You get ads and stuff like that. Yeah. Like if you're looking for like a home equity line of credit or something like that, you know, you just go and just do some research on what's the rates on. Then all of a sudden you start getting these ads popping up all over the place, and then people start calling you. You know, about, you know, we can help you with such and such.
Absolutely. Or they're in the mail, because everything is in the mail I get, right? The first thing they said, you want to go online? No, I don't use online. Definitely don't use it with my bank account. To know. But how do you protect yourself?
Well, the only way that you can protect yourself is to be vigilant, as we were saying before.
Now I'm talking about Google tracking you. If you don't use Google and you're trying to get someplace where you don't know where you are, then what do?
Well, I don't know that you have a choice. You know, I mean, not unless you're going to go back to the way that we used to do things, because you know when I used to travel, I had a map. I had a book of maps.
That's right.
You know, and then you would sit down and plan out that that route and whatnot. I remember like when my wife and I were dating. This was back in the early '90s. You know, we'd be going to I'd be going to different parts of Florida, or, you know, going up and down the East Coast. You know, you had that map, and you sit there and you figure this, and then you write all that stuff down, and then you say, okay, I got to take this road and that road.
Right.
But you know, when
they make it a convenience.
But when Google Maps came and like the other MapQuest and like all these other things, that was the greatest thing in the world.
Like apple pie.
Yeah, you could print off, and you still had to look at a list, but it was like, okay, this tells me exactly. And now you get turn by turn directions. But you know, the companies make it easy for you so they can gather information from you. So they're constantly gathering information and they're selling that information. That's what makes those companies so profitable, because information is key. It used to be gold, you know, it used to be the dollar, but now it's information.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of those sites that ask you, they say they use cookies, so they're not doing it without your knowledge. But if you're not reading what it is that they say that they're doing with your information, and some of them, if you say no, then they're not going to let you on their site. You know.
Well, they're still tracking you.
Well, I'm just saying, and good to know. Because
but with the cookies, they're just downloading the information on your phone to track you. But they're still tracking you with their with their software and things of that nature.
So that's a false advertisement.
Yeah, and the other company
to ask you a question to make you seem safe.
Well, and the other company that you're talking about, there's no way they can survive without selling information about where you're going online. So, I mean, they're still, I mean, they may not have like the sophisticated artificial intelligence and the sophisticated tracking mechanism that Google has, you know, but they're still tracking, and they're still selling that information.
And I know that at one point
because nobody does anything for free.
Right.
Nothing's free.
And I think the government was trying to say that they're trying to do something with Google because they say that they have
their monopoly
in the industry, and
well,
they trying to make
it's
supposed to be against the law to be able to one company to have so much
sometimes
power.
the government will try to break up companies who monopolize certain industries.
Now, I understand
because
that.
they want there to be a lot of a lot of competition, because they're thinking competition will drive down prices and be good for the consumers ultimately. So when sometimes the companies get too big or they just completely dominate an industry, then the government may come in and may try to restrict or maybe even break up those companies.
I know that Google was one of them that they said that they pretty powerful. They got too much power. And the other thing is that when they came out with the, I can't even remember what it was called, but it came out, I don't know what it was called, Zoom, that wasn't Zoom, It was some weird name where you could tell people, okay, when it first came out, I used to be able to a couple of times, I said, this ain't right. You understand what I'm saying? That you can, I forgot what the app is called, it's not on this phone. But you can tell them where the police cars are, you can tell them where the red lights are, what the speed limit change is, and it's fed by individuals.
That's in Google Maps.
No, that before that came out, this is other company that does it.
Okay.
And it's I can't think, next time I see you, I'm gonna tell you, okay? Because it's on one of my old phones. But it was a company that was out here.
Was it Wave?
Even with Wave, yes.
Okay.
It was Wave, that's what it was. And you could feed them information by people. Oh, I just rolled past and it's a police officer that's with a scanner that's sitting right there, on such and such a street. Now Google doesn't ask you that. Okay?
No, because Google has satellites that go out
and do it for you.
Yeah.
But because the lady will tell you, get ready to come up on
a speed trap.
Speed trap, right. So but
there's a speed trap
probably put Wave out of business. Okay, I don't know if they're still around.
Or maybe they were bought out, probably.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. But like I said at first, I said, well, that ain't right. At first I was on it, right? But I said, well, wait a minute, the tracking thing. I said, if I'm giving them information, then they're keeping the information that I'm giving them. Now they know all about me, so I stopped using it.
They know where you're going.
Only
how fast you're driving.
I was so glad that I was working in IT at the time because I was not IT conscious. Okay, I was, my bachelor's degree is in information systems management, and so and the reason why the school that I was in was using the guy from Iran was because they were Iraq and Iran and China were one of the three big hacking or tracking industries that they had out there. So I was ahead of what the curve was, for some places, because this guy would tell you, beware this, beware that.
There's no agency that's larger than the United States government in terms of tracking and creating, I'm not saying it in a bad or negative way, but none of them are larger than the United States government.
No, and it's not.
And it's right here in this area, what is it called, the NSA?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep, and so I think that what he was, one of the things that he was telling us, he said, but then it was a government agency some time ago, during the time when I was in school, in college, that it was an agency that actually, that everybody had been using as their server, and they were basically, China had it. They got the contract, it was a China contract that every business out here had, they were affiliated with this particular, I'm not going to say which company it was, but they were affiliated with this company. And when some citizens got hold of that information, then they wanted to hold us accountable. But why are you that's just like giving trade secrets to a foreign country, because you're using their you're using their system for the government to track everybody else, and I think they had to do away with. I think they took it to court and they had to sell that. I don't think I forgot what the name. I wouldn't say what it was anyway.
Okay.
But it was a company that was out here that our own government was using, that they was gotten from China.
Okay.
Because they were here to a lot of stuff too. So some of the things we do, and it was a very popular piece of software because people had them on their home with their computers. Okay, it was one of the most popular softwares that you could ever have.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, you just got to be careful. You know, so that was a good conversation. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We're going to say good night to everybody, and stay blessed, stay hydrated. Don't forget to vote, please. You got 2 elections, one here in PG County, and then you got the big election for the President of the United States and the Vice President. Be safe.